Let's jump to this next story from the Washington Examiner. Head of Miami GOP calls for party official to resign over leaked racist and anti-Semitic chat. Oh boy, did you guys hear about this one?
Yes, I did.
The leaked group chat or whatever. It's funny because we were just playing this joke from Danny Polishchuk the other day about the leaked group chats. And now we have, of course, a legitimate GOP leaked group chat where I read some of the messages, and oh boy, they like saying the N-word.
There was like one last year too, right? There was another one that leaked from DC staffers.
I mean, they don't.
Let's read this from the Washington Examiner. They say, Miami-Dade County Republican Chairman Kevin Cooper said anyone associated with this chat should resign immediately. Well, Republican State Rep Juan Porras on Wednesday called on Carvajal directly to step down, describing the message as deeply disturbing. In messages, Gonzalez said, "You can F all the Ks you want, just don't marry them and procreate," warning about the risk of having, quote, a little K running around. He responded, "I would def not marry a Jew." In another anti-Semitic exchange, Valdez changed the group chat name to Gooning in Agartha, referencing slang for male, if you know what I mean, and the mythical civilization promoted by Adolf Hitler's top henchman, Heinrich Himmler. Valdez described Agartha as esoteric Nazism, essentially, while Gonzalez said it was Nazi heaven, sort of. To be fair, if you're not giving us the context of what they were saying, just putting in quotes a small, like him saying esoteric Nazism, essentially, they could be criticizing it for all I know. Not that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. In another exchange, Valdez said, "We need to have a moratorium on immigration temporarily, unless it's someone from a first world country. Yeah, I obviously mean whites." Some chat users also use derogatory language about women, while others frequently used the word N and additional disparaging and violent comments against black people. Ew, you had colored professors, Gonzalez wrote. I refuse, he meant refuse, to be indoctrinated by the coloreds. He later said, avoid the coloreds like the plague. Wow. This is Florida. In another exchange, a user sent a series of violent messages about wanting to exterminate N-word. Jeez. This is wild stuff.
You shouldn't put that stuff. Well, you shouldn't say that stuff, but you shouldn't put it in group chats. I know people think, oh, it's the group chat. It's safe. Look, these things.
No, it's not.
It's not at all.
There should be special punishments for whoever leaks the group chat, though. That is 110%.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, but
you're
look,
violating. It's a level of trust.
It is, but still, like, in modern society, like, group chats are just as vulnerable as anything else.
I leave them. Like, most of the time, I don't even stay because it's like you're going to end up being guilty by association for something if somebody says something that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah, now, that being said, the Republicans should ignore all the calls for resigning and stuff because the Democrats will just use that as confirmation that the people actually meant it and that they were actually racist and stuff. They might be able to get away with saying, oh, this is just, we were just being, locker room talk or whatever, however you want to call it. They're not going to approve these people if they say they're sorry, so they should ignore all the calls for people to resign.
Kind of makes me think of that dude who was saying in the group chat that he wanted to kill somebody's mom, or I don't remember. It was a month and a half ago.
there was just the current AG of
he wanted to
Virginia.
He wanted to kill children.
Yes.
And he didn't resign.
No.
Nothing, and he won.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Democrats will say the most absolutely abhorrent stuff, and nothing happens. So the Republicans should ignore this because no one actually cares. They're only going to use it to get scalps. The Republicans should ignore this.
Yeah, really, right. As long as there's a two-tiered standard of justice, then there's no real point in playing that game.
That's right.
What it does suggest to me, though, is that, come on, let's have smarter people in these group chats, right? Like, really, you want to take a risk like that with your career, it doesn't seem wise.
It's young guys that do stupid things, and genuinely young guys do stupid things. That's part of...
No, I think this has everything to do with what we were talking about yesterday with World of Warcraft. I'm not even joking or exaggerating. When there's this clip that Asmongold, has on his X account where he watches a clip from from Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, but the original IP from 1994. And the point is this: when we were all kids, the content we got was like dudes in armor running through a battlefield screaming. And, you've got like Braveheart and things like that.
RoboCop had toys for kids.
Yeah, now you have, and then it's like 2026, World of Warcraft is Shrek. Like, it's the orcs, which are supposed to be gigantic, brutish monsters, are bumbling around like, whoa, don't mind me. And then the character is going, woohoo, I'm dancing. And so what happens is, the outlet for young men and their aggression is gone. There were games to play, and it would direct them in a messaging or in a narrative. Now they don't have that, and so their outlet for aggression is these dark corners of the internet. So they're going to grow up, and instead of being aggressive as it pertains to competitive sports or something like this, they're going into politics. And in politics, the most aggressive stuff they're being fed is going to be this kind of stuff. And that's what you're going to get.
There's this character, I'm trying to find it. It's in Warcraft. The chick is it's a black girl, but she's an orc. But it's obviously like a black woman is what they're trying to do. And she's got like a buzz cut, and she's like the badass hero. But it's like
when?
A black, it's like this new, one of the new
Recently?
orc protagonists. Yeah. They just created some new character, and it's a black, basically they're like, here's your new hero is a black woman. And like, I have no problem with black women. I find them extremely erotic, exotic, and all these things. Like lots of stuff. But to make them the main protagonist of an action game for kids is like, makes them kind of maybe resent that they're being force-fed shit that's like weird. You know, like you don't go on the battlefield and expect to see a large black woman next to you in combat.
You're half there. Let me translate these Ianisms.
I don't care what skin color you have.
Let me translate the Ianisms, because I actually talked about this earlier today as I did a breakdown of basically just elaborating on everything we're talking about. Concord, for those that aren't familiar, was a $400 million project by Sony that launched to tens of players. Like, ultimately, they sold 25,000 copies of the game, but nobody was playing it. And within 11 days, they shut it down and refunded all their money. It is considered to be the biggest flop in the history of all media. From $400 million to zero. Even bad movies that flop, it'll be like it was a $100 million budget and it did $60 million. It's a flop.
Oh, there's some movies that lose maybe not that much, but
indeed.
Close.
The point is, I went through and looked at the characters in this game, Concord, and it's a bunch of like Tumblr-esque, woke, weird they-thems and she-thems. There's like a fat Pakistani guy, and it's like, first and foremost, we go to fantasy games and realms to play as the extreme superhero. You want a guy who's jacked up, and you want a woman who's super hot. Like, you don't want to be yourself. You want to be in a fantasy of the best. But more importantly, for these games, people need to see something recognizable. Mm-hmm. And so to Ian's point about an orc black woman lesbian.
Garona is her name, by the way.
Garona.
That's what I'm talking about.
The question is, will any young person see that character and recognize that trope in some kind of way? No, it doesn't exist. And so what ends up happening is they keep trying to make these, like, the example that I give in the Overwatch video game, which came out 10 years ago, and we played these videos yesterday as well. The characters are 100% stereotypes. Hilarious. But you know what the thing is? Stereotypes are recognizable. So when someone sees an Egyptian character, and it's not demeaning, and she's got like a hieroglyph over her eye, they're like, oh, she's Egyptian. Like, I understand references to that culture.
It's a visual shortcut.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Then when you decide you're going to make a black woman who does not in any way behave or represent anything related to black females and their culture or black culture, no one likes it. So no one will touch it. And anyway, not to get into all that right now, we'll talk about that later. This goes back to the point about these group chats. I'm going to loop it back in. Young guys go online. They do not have an opportunity to see war, conquest. And I'm not saying that you should always just be into that stuff, but they're not seeing stories of heroism, and they're not being given challenges. They're not being told, here's how you succeed, here's how you be strong, here's how you be better. Instead, they're being told to hold hands and, kiss puppies. And it's like, yo, there's a time and a place for hugging your puppy. But guys want to jump off buildings and punch each other in the nuts. And for that matter, we can also get into, we'll save this for the end of the show, the new game EA Skate. One of the most anticipated games of all time, no joke, has 1,900 players on average right now. Again, one of the most apocalyptic failures of a media. Within 6 months, the player base dropped, and they lost 70% of their players after launch. Because it's not a game where, as a man, you are being told, here's how you conquer the world. It's a game where you play as a morbidly obese guy with tits, and you're being told by some young girl to go and have fun and play and dance.
Oh, cheat.
And I'm not even, this is why I'm pissed, and this is why I'm going to shout out Mark Wayne Mullen again for standing up and calling calling O'Brien to the Teamsters to fight. And I'm going to give a shout out to O'Brien as well for saying, let's go, because they're being men. Not that I think it's appropriate for two guys to just throw down in a Senate chamber, but at least they're being men.
In RFK, another man, like a legit, like testosterone-laden human man. That guy, and he's doing the man thing of like, let's get healthy.
Testosterone-laden.
He doesn't want to break you with his elbows.
He's delivering it to someone else.
Yes, he wants to feed you his testosterone-laced health advice.
Well, at least maybe Olivia Nuzzi.
I don't know.
Fighting back.
Is that too esoteric a joke?
He is fighting back currently against all of the Burger King and McDonald's CEOs who are trying to sell you their burgers by trying to get you healthy.
So basically, protecting the food supply is it's a masculine trait. You know, protecting in general is a masculine trait. So you don't have to break people's faces to be masculine. You can also protect the environment.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.